What's up, people? This is your resident Dr. Senbei Norimaki, otherwise known as Dr. Slump. I'm here to bring you another video review of Dragon Ball Kai. This time it's going to be episode 108. And in this week's episode, we continue from where we left off, where we get to see the new figures that were introduced in last week's episode, which are Deborah and Babidi. Babidi is the short green man, and Deborah is the tall red one. And in this week's episode, we get more context on their abilities and powers. Deborah is the king of Demon Plane, and he's the strongest in that plane. Obviously, he's the king. And we also get more context on Babidi's abilities. Babidi is able to take control of the evil desires and basically manipulate them into swaying other people under his command. And his abilities are reminiscent of Akuman, who is a character way back in Dragon Ball, who was able to basically manipulate the evil desires in people and blow them up. But in this week's episode, we see that Babidi's able to take it a step further and control them. So that's a very hacked ability, because if you go up against Babidi with any evil desires in your heart, he'll manipulate them and you'll fall under his control. You can't win unless you're pure of heart. So we see that Babidi has now gotten the energy from Yamu and Spopovich, but he says, well, you know, you guys have been useful, but time to die. And he basically blows up Spopovich, and Spopovich is grotesquely blown up from the inside out. And we get to see Goku's reaction specifically, who is disgusted by this. And we see that Yamu tries to run away, but he's blown up by one of Babidi's other servants named Pui Pui, who we were introduced to in last week's episode. So now that they've really taken care of the dirty work, we get to see that Deborah and Babidi have realized that the other Z fighters have come, and they say, well, we'll see what the other three that have potential are made of when they come to the ship, and we extract their energy from them when they fight. And do whatever you want with the rest of them, but leave the Lord of Lords alive, Babidi specifies. And Deborah's like, well, I'll let you have your fun, so I'll do that. And Pui Pui's like, well, what should I do, Master Babidi? And Babidi's like, well, you'll guard stage one. And Pui Pui's like, yay, I get to guard stage one, whoopee! And we get into the next episode where, next episode. I'm living up to my name, man. I'm living up to my name. We get into the next scene where Deborah is like, okay, now time to have some fun. He kills Kibito and he spits on Piccolo and Krillin, but we get to see the effects of said spit, which turn them into stone. And we see that Supreme Kai says that they cannot be returned to normal unless Deborah is defeated. And Goku says, that's going to be easy as pie, man. We might as well just go ahead and get this one over with. And Gohan's like, are you ready to go, guys? And after that, Goku's like, yeah. And Vegeta's like, well, I'm not one for standing around, so I might as well go too. And Supreme Kai's like, oh, well, I guess this is it. I might as well go with them and not leave them to their own idiocy. So they all go onto the ship, and Supreme Kai states that they can't leave the ship now until they defeat Babidi. And Vegeta's like, well, why don't I just blow it up? And Supreme Kai's like, no, you can't blow this ship up. If you blow the ship up, Buu will be revived. If he's revived, he'll kill us. And if he kills us, the Earth will be destroyed. So you can't blow up the ship, Vegeta. You just can't do that. You can't do that. And he's like, okay, dadgum, chill, man. And we see that Babidi is delighted with pleasure. And Babidi says, well, I might as well go ahead and assimilate this energy into Buu's shell. And he does so, and it's almost half of the energy that's needed to revive him. So this is something that is kind of scary, depending on how you look at it, because if Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is just a little bit under half the energy of Buu, that means Buu is strong as, oh my gosh, he's twice as strong as Gohan as Super Saiyan 2. I mean, even if Vegeta and Goku reach Super Saiyan 2, does that mean that they can beat Buu at this point? I highly doubt it. I really do. So we get into the next scene where Babidi is like, what did they do? Sap hundreds of humans? And Deborah's like, well, no. Well, I don't know. They didn't say. And Babidi says, well, I don't know. Maybe I should have kept them alive if they could gather energy this quickly. But Babidi's like, well, it's too late. I wonder how Pui Pui is doing. And Pui Pui comes out of the ship, and he says that Babidi is on the bottom floor. You must get through me, and then you can proceed to go through the other floors and get to Master Babidi. And Pui Pui is starting to boast and everything. And Goku's like, all right, so what are we going to do? Who's going to go first? And they start to play rock, paper, scissors, which Babidi and Deborah see. And they're like, what are they doing? They're playing rock, paper, scissors to decide who goes first, Babidi. And they start playing, and Vegeta wins. And Vegeta says, all right, I'll go first. And Pui Pui says, okay, you go first, fine. And he says, I'll warn you, though, I'm one of Babidi's top minions. Ha-ha! I'm going to be able to defeat you. Ha-ha! You will not be able to defeat me. But even if you are able to graze me, I will be able to defeat you, and your energy will be assimilated to Majin Buu. Ha-ha! And Vegeta's like, well, are you going to come at me or what? And that's basically where the episode ends. And this week's episode, what I liked that we got more context on the powers of the main villains. We got to see that there's a little bit of sense of danger because one person has been killed off, the other two have been turned to stone, which are Krillin and Piccolo. But what I did not like is that the villains seem like cannon fodder. The villains seem like just jokes at this point. They seem like child's play to the people, to the Z fighters at this point, and it's something sad to see because I was hoping for more action, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that or not in this series now of Dragon Ball Kai: The Buu Saga, because it seems like the villains are just child's play. But I guess that's it. Well, that's pretty much the end of this review. So, like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode review, and I'll be back next week to do another Dragon Ball Kai episode review. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Have a great day.